It was the world's first true superpower, stretching from Greece to India, ruling over 50 million people and controlling nearly half the world's population. The Persian Empire, built by Cyrus the Great and expanded by kings like Darius and Xerxes, seemed unstoppable. And yet, within just 2 centuries, this mighty empire collapsed. In this video, we'll uncover the story of how the Persian Empire fell through corruption, rebellion, and the arrival of a young conqueror who changed history forever: Alexander the Great. The rise of Persia. The Persian Empire began in the 6th century BC with Cyrus the Great, who united the Persian tribes and defeated the mighty Babylonian Empire. His successors, Cambyses and Darius the Great, expanded Persia into the largest empire the world had ever seen. At its peak, Persia stretched over 5,500 kilometers, from Egypt and Greece in the west to India in the east. It was a land of incredible wealth, efficient administration, and legendary kings. But empires that grow too large often sow the seeds of their own destruction. Internal weaknesses. Persia was powerful, but it faced problems at its core. The empire relied on heavy taxation to support its armies and palaces. Local governors, known as satraps, often abused their power, overtaxing subjects and keeping wealth for themselves. Corruption spread, and resentment grew among conquered peoples. Meanwhile, the Persian court in Persepolis became infamous for its luxury. Kings surrounded themselves with endless banquets, golden palaces, and lavish ceremonies, while ordinary subjects carried the burden. This widening gap between ruler and ruled weakened the empire from within. The Greek Wars. Persia's troubles grew worse after its wars with Greece. In 490 BC, King Darius launched an invasion but was defeated at Marathon. 10 years later, his son Xerxes returned with a massive army and fleet, only to suffer crushing defeats at Salamis and Plataea. The once invincible Persian army had been humbled by small Greek city-states. These failures drained the treasury, shook Persia's aura of invincibility, and gave rise to rebellion across the empire. For the first time, Persia seemed vulnerable. Decline and rebellion. After Xerxes, Persian kings struggled to maintain control. Rebellions erupted in Egypt, Babylon, and Asia Minor. Successive rulers spent more time fighting civil wars and palace intrigues than governing the empire. Some kings were assassinated by their own relatives, others spent fortunes on luxury rather than defense. By the time Darius III came to power in 336 BC, the empire was a shadow of its former self. Still vast and rich, but politically divided and militarily weaker than ever. The invasion of Alexander. In the west, a new power was rising: Macedonia, led by Alexander the Great. In 334 BC, Alexander crossed into Asia Minor with about 40,000 soldiers. At the Battle of Granicus, he crushed the Persians. A year later, at the Battle of Issus, Alexander faced King Darius III himself. Despite being heavily outnumbered, Alexander's tactics forced Darius to flee the battlefield. Finally, in 331 BC, the fate of Persia was decided at the Battle of Gaugamela. Darius brought a massive army, but Alexander's disciplined phalanx and cavalry wedge broke through. Once again, Darius fled. Within months, Alexander captured Babylon, Susa, and Persepolis, the heart of the Persian Empire. Persepolis itself was burned, marking the symbolic end of Persia's glory. The fall of Persia. After Gaugamela, Persia was finished. Darius III was later betrayed and killed by his own men. With his death, the great Achaemenid dynasty founded by Cyrus the Great came to an end. In just a few years, Alexander had conquered the largest empire the world had ever known. Persia's legacy. Though the Persian Empire fell, its legacy lived on. The Persians pioneered systems of administration, roads, and coinage that influenced empires for centuries. Their respect for local cultures and religions set a model for future rulers. Even Alexander adapted elements of Persian dress and customs. The fall of Persia reminds us that even the mightiest empires can collapse, not in a single moment, but through decades of internal weakness and the rise of new powers. If you like this video, share it with your friends and don't forget to subscribe.